All right, good morning. Good morning, Probably Bullshit Army. Welcome back to the Probably Bullshit podcast. I'll be honest with you guys. Happy Tuesday, first of all. It's a fucking great Tuesday, no matter how I feel. No matter how you're feeling, it still is a great fucking day. You might have started the day pretty low, running behind, late to work, fucking boss yelling at you. You got pulled over. Um, maybe you might even be unemployed. That's kind of baller, to be honest. But either way, however you started the day, still it's a great day. Remember that, you son of a bitch. And we move on. Anyways, I say all that to say good morning. I'll be honest, I'm not fucking feeling it right now, and that's tough. That's rare. I a little sicky myself, a little under the weather. I'm gonna fucking put this pen down, or else I'm gonna click this shit all day. You guys are gonna hear that and hate it. Um, yeah, definitely not really feeling too hot right now. Fucking first time I feel like I've been sick in quite some time. Um, Maybe I'm fucking overdue. You know, it was time for that fucking oil change of mine. I'm 5,000 miles over. Um, but we're here anyways, and we deliver as needed. I apologize for the previous hiatus that I took, but we're back now, and that's all that fucking matters. So, enough about my negativity and my bullshit and my complaining and my bitching. We move on and we talk about what's going on currently. It's currently 4:20. I'm recording this on Monday, April 20th. If you're listening to this on the Tuesday it comes out, it is currently the 21st, but we're still gonna fucking celebrate 420 like it's no tomorrow. We're all smoking. We're all getting stoned. We're all hitting the fent pipe, whatever it is you want to call it, whatever drug of choice you choose. Um, yeah, again, like I said, I feel like I haven't been sick in a long time. It's pretty rare that I get sick. It's not that often for the most part, and I'm glad to say that. I don't think I really get allergies or anything like that much either. I I'll get like what do you call it? Like I'll get really congested as the springtime starts on, so I kind of have been lately, but I wouldn't really consider that sick in comparison to now. And again, I don't want to keep bitching, but yeah, one of the I don't know. I feel like everybody has that experience of like a really bad time they got sick when they were like a little kid. I think I've talked about it before on this, but one of the worst times I've ever been sick was one time when I had to have been 12, 13 years old, somewhere around there, pretty young. And my family had gone to Texas Roadhouse. We went to Roadhouse for I don't remember what the fuck ever it was, but we went. Your boy got a bacon cheeseburger like a fucking American with some bacon fries to top it all off, cherry on top. Uh, and I remember it being amazing. Great burger, great fries, great establishment in Texas Roadhouse. Shout out Texas Roadhouse if you're listening to this. The Texas Roadhouse HQ. Shout out to you. This podcast is not sponsored by Texas Roadhouse, but soon. Either way, had my cheeseburger, had my bacon cheeseburger, my steak fries with fucking cheese and bacon on them as well. Like any other day. Went home, was fine, and then I started feeling sick. I don't know. I'm not, again, not blaming this on Texas Roadhouse, but internally I blamed it on them as a child after what happened from then on. Anyways, I got really sick. It's terrible. I remember in episode one, if you guys are some lifelong listeners in this one, I've talked about it before where there'd be times when I was a little kid that I would get sick and I would have, um, I think it was called Alice in Wonderland syndrome, is what it was called after I discovered it and looked into it a little bit more. But I knew I was sick, and I was afraid to go to bed. I used to get this thing again. If you didn't listen to that episode, first episode where I was talking about it with E-Man, there was this like pretty fucking big stint in my childhood where every time I would get sick, I would get like I'd feel like shit going to bed, and going to bed was always the worst time. I remember like I would dread it because I knew what bedtime kind of entailed when I was sick. Again, I got Alice in Wonderland syndrome. I think that's like my diagnosis. Let me look it up exactly to see what the fuck it is. I don't remember the exact description of it, but last time I checked, it made perfect sense and described exactly what the fuck I was going through. So, Alice in Wonderland syndrome, AIWS, the fucking or Todd syndrome, is a rare neurological condition. See, but that's the thing. This is saying it's a condition like you have it all the time. I don't really think I would get it a lot when I was sick, and I still get it to this day sometimes. I'll be fucking driving and realize it. But carrying on to what the fuck it is I'm talking about. Is a rare neurological condition often linked to migraines or infections that distorts your perception, making body objects or body parts your body parts or objects appear incorrectly in size, distance, or shape. Symptoms include micropsia. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that word again. Time distortion and an altered body image. While often temporary, common in children, it requires medical consultation to diagnose after involving an MRI. Yeah, again, I never got diagnosed, but this is kind of what it was. I remember I would have so many times when I was trying to go to bed and I couldn't, and I would close my eyes and like my bed felt like huge, like I was fucking like swimming in it, and it almost gave me like this weird feeling of like everything I touched, my hands felt tiny, but then sometimes they would feel giant at the same time. Like I would feel like I had fucking Mickey Mouse hands. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like the big ass like white mittens, and I would feel like everything I touched was like tiny, and it would like I'd grab this pen and it would feel like this fucking pen right here is like the skinniest, smallest little pen ever, and it would just freak me out as a kid. Again, I can't explain it. And if you've never kind of felt anything even slightly similar to this, Jesus Christ, it probably sounds like I'm tripping balls. And really, I think that's probably just another aspect of it. It felt like I was like with my body tripping balls. But yeah, like I said, sometimes I get this when I'm just like randomly driving, and it'll last like a couple minutes and then it goes away. Where I'm grabbing the steering wheel, and it feels like the steering wheel, like you guys have all seen a fucking steering wheel. Imagine a steering wheel. You might be driving right now. Look at like the width of your steering wheel, and it's like cool, like a normal width. And then sometimes it would feel in my hands, it feels tiny, like I'm grabbing a tiny little pen or something like this. This is how skinny the the steering wheel would feel in my hands, or vice versa. Most of the time, it's usually like my hands feel big, but sometimes they would feel small. But I would grab something and my hands felt like they were tiny, and I'm grabbing something and it's huge. And just, you're a little kid and it's 3 in the morning. You're fucking trying to fall asleep, and George Lopez on Nick at Night is on. It's hard to fall asleep when this is all you feel. But again, things would look closer or farther away than they were. So like I'd be trying to watch TV. Again, shout out George Lopez, Nick at Night. That was, I think, everything, always what I was watching when I was a little kid trying to go to sleep. Shout out his wife Carmen too. She was probably one of my first adult TV crushes. Anyways, yeah, I would like be watching this TV, and then it would feel like the TV was right in front of my face, like fucking inches. Like, you know, you ever seen kids when they sit in front of a TV and they're like inches away from a TV, and like it felt like when I was watching, everything, my entire vision was just the TV. Like I couldn't see anything outside of the TV. That's how close I felt like I was. But I wasn't, obviously. I mean, I was just sitting in my bed. And then there'd be times where like I'd fucking like close my eyes and try to like reset my vision to see better, and hopefully that would go away. And then when I'd open my eyes, it would transfer, and it'd be the opposite, to where now this TV feels like it's far as fuck away, like it's at the end of a hallway, and I'm just sitting in my bed, and it feels like I have this depth perception, like insane, like I can see almost 360. Like imagine right now, you guys ever seen like those 360 cameras that people do like GoPro videos with, and everything around them kind of like warps on the sides of all their vision? That's kind of what my vision would feel like too. Um, and it's 3 in the morning. I'm trying to go to fucking sleep. I'm I'm the worst. Like my brain will fuck with me a bunch where internally I'll be trying to go to bed, and then my brain will randomly just throw the idea of, oh, what if fucking The Grudge is under your bed? What if The Exorcist is in your closet? And it's like, fuck. And I couldn't get those thoughts out of my head. Those would take forever. But yeah, so I would get this going, deep callback again to one of the last times I was sick after getting Texas Roadhouse. This is where I was sitting. I was in my room, had got home from Texas Roadhouse, and I was going through this, fucking tripping balls in my room, and I would try to like explain it to my mom or something, and she like, bless her heart, but she didn't know what the fuck to do. Like, okay, like, what do you do? Like everything I did, like, okay, here's medicine, but like that doesn't help with my my senses, I guess, my hearing, my vision, my touch. Um, Maybe she'd try to like distract me and put on like, here, put on this cartoon instead, and the fucking cartoons would start to creep me out because of the way they looked. Like they would look like they were farther away or closer to me. Um, she'd try and fucking give me a hug and calm me down, and then like my hands felt like they were like huge. Like if I touched something, it like scared me. It was fucking terrible. Honestly, that shit was torture. I don't know how to explain it. I would fucking just cry like such a little bitch. But I didn't know where or what to do, and spent like a whole fucking night doing this, tripping balls by myself, going through this at like 12 years old, and then I started getting like stomach pains, and my stomach really fucking hurt. I got upset stomach, and I just, like I knew it was coming. I knew the throw up was coming. That's like one of the worst feelings when you know you have to throw up, and it's like, goddamn. Like sometimes you're just like, let's get it over with, and because you'll feel better sometimes afterwards. But a lot of times, throwing up, like you know it's coming and you don't want to, because like I hate the feeling of throwing up. I hate the smell of throw up. I hate the feeling of it. Overall, it's disgusting. It's terrible. It's a terrible feeling. But I knew it was coming, and I was like, God damn, or whatever. And I'm sitting like in my, I think I was like laying in my mom's bed, like at the feet of her bed, fucking 13 years old, grown ass man, but almost fucking laying in her bed, and just like, oh, not feeling this at all, you know? And then I fucking like stand up and like burst up because I know, oh, here it goes, I'm about to throw up. So I try to like sprint over to the bathroom and get to the toilet. Fucking couldn't make it to the toilet, and there's like this little hallway. There was this hallway right in between my parents' room to the bathroom, and I'm fucking running. Throat comes up. I won't get too descriptive, but it was disgusting. It looked like the fucking Exorcist on the wall, just everywhere, and I felt so bad just because like I was so sick that like I couldn't even like clean it up and like stand. I just wanted to lay down and just fucking just be done. So my parents, or I don't remember if my dad was there or not, but my mom was like, she had to clean it. I think I probably helped her. I hope I fucking helped her. I'd be pissed off if I was her and I didn't help her. But I remember feeling so bad, like, fuck, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And she was just like, oh, it's okay, or whatever. Anyways, I couldn't eat Texas Roadhouse for like years after that. Like, just the smell of like the bacon cheese fries from Texas Roadhouse, fucking grossed me out so bad. It's kind of the same way that like a lot of people have towards like alcohol. Like, oh, if you have a night where you got absolutely hammered on, I don't know. I feel like everybody has that story of just getting obliterated on like Fireball, and now nobody can do Fireball anymore. Um, for me, one of the first times it was Cayman Jacks, like those little limeritas. Oh, those fucking smell disgusting now to me. They taste like shit. Honestly, they tasted like shit the first time I had them, anyways. But it was terrible, and I couldn't like step foot in a Texas Roadhouse for a couple years just because it grossed me the fuck out. And again, I have no clue if it was even the Roadhouse that did it. I don't know if it was like undercooked or whatever, but either way, it was bad, and that was probably one of the worst times I've ever been sick when I was a kid. Um, I don't know the last time I've been that sick. Luckily, I really don't get sick, and I'm glad. Um, every once in a while, I'll get like a little like a tight throat in the morning. You know that feeling like when you wake up and like your throat just feels dry as fuck and like tight, like that first like cough, like there's like mucus, like a mucus wall built up. It's disgusting. And you gotta cough that shit out. Those always hurt. Like the cough feels like it's gonna fucking like tear your throat apart. Ugh, those hurt so bad. It's gross. Um, I get those every once in a while, but usually it's just like through the mornings, and then the rest of the day I'm fine. I know I said like 10 minutes ago that I'm not gonna bitch and complain, and here I am just talking about all these bad fucking things. Either way, you guys get the fucking memo. I feel like shit today, but we're powering through it. We're here to give you some bullshit podcast that you all must listen to get your rocks off. What else is going on? Had a dentist appointment today. Fuck was that? That was pretty eventful. Um, First time going to this dentist. I go every fucking 6 months. Your boy got no cavities, no nothing. It's always nice when the doctor asks if I have had braces before. It's like, yeah, motherfucker. No, I haven't. I haven't had braces. But for you to assume I've had braces, my teeth are fucking perfectly in line, son of a bitch. Check out the chompers. But go to this dentist office. Cool, whatever. First time I've been to this dentist office since I moved out into the Denver area. Checked in with the lady, blah, 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 bullshit, whatever. They start doing the x-rays first thing as soon as I walk in before I do my cleaning. X-rays start up. And honestly, this is funny. No part of me, was, weirded out or, upset or, I don't know, even upset at all about the whole thing. But it was funny. So I'm doing my x-rays and, they bring me to, this little room where, they have you, oh, they put that fucking little thing in your mouth and they're like, bite down, and they take the photo, and then, all right, they move it, bite down again, take the photo, whatever. And every time they were taking the photos, this girl that was taking the photos was she had to get out of the room to take the photo, and this whole little fucking rotary machine was just spinning around. And you know how, you guys ever seen those memes where it's doctors are always telling you that it's that it's safe, that there's nothing to be scared of. They tell that to the little kids when they're doing x-rays, oh, there's nothing to be scared of. And then they fucking go and hide behind a wall and get the fuck out when it's time to take those photos. Because they know. They know it's bad. I'm not a doctor. Anybody who, if any nurses are listening to this and they're going to be like, oh, well, they only do that because of this, whatever. You know that those x-ray radiation little moments are fucking bad for you. That's why everybody scrams when it's time. Anyways, so they're doing my little x-ray photos or whatever. And before every photo, the lady's all she kind of yells to the entire staff in the back. She's like, x-ray starting. So then everybody knows to stay the fuck away from where she's taking these little photos out. Cause it's kind of a little entryway that people come and go through. So she's like, x-ray starting or whatever. And then this other doctor comes up and he's trying to grab his paperwork that's on the desk, kind of next to me. But then she says the whole x-ray thing, and he still is just all right, fuck it. And he reaches over just slightly and tries to grab the x-ray photos. And in front of me, it's funny, I know, you don't have to lie to me. But it was just funny that she said this too. In front of me, when this guy's reaching over or whatever, I don't know his name. We're going to call him Tom. Tom wasn't his name, but she was like, Tom, if you want to get radiation poisoning, that's on you. And it's bitch, I'm standing right here in front of this fucking machine. Sorry, I didn't mean to call her a bitch. I'm going to do it again. But I was like, bitch, I'm standing in front of this machine and you're telling this guy he's going to get radiation poisoning for getting close to me? What the fuck? And it was kind of funny to me. And then he's like, haha, yeah, I know. He's like, and she's like, if you still want to have kids, I suggest you get out of here or something. And it's bro, I'm standing right here. Again, I know that these x-rays and stuff are bad for you. All this radiation, whatever the fuck is in it. Because to be honest, I don't know what's in it. But I know that it's bad for you. And she's like, if you want to have kids, you better get out of here or whatever. And he's like, haha, yeah, I'll end up having a kid with a third eye and 2 legs and 4 heads. And I was like, guys, I'm fucking standing in this machine right now. And you're joking that, of how fucking terrible it is. And I'm just I look over guys, I'm in this machine. And you're threatening of all this radiation poisoning and shit. And I was like, what the fuck? Anyways, I just thought that was funny. Again, I know that it's bad for me. Fuck it. What am I going to do? What am I going to tell them no and don't do any x-rays of me? But yeah, I thought it was hilarious. Imagine you're doing it to a little kid. They're taking x-ray photos of a little kid and you say some shit like that in front of them. I was like, what the fuck? And I'm not even going to say which dentist office it was. Overall, the experience was fucking cool. It was just this. But next funny thing, cool. We finished the x-rays. I go lay down or whatever. They give me the glasses. Um, I'm kind of sitting there waiting for a while, and then the doctor actually comes in or whatever, and he's doing the cleaning. He starts like talking to me like, "Oh, do you have any questions? Have you ever had any like cavities? How often are you brushing? Blah blah blah." All of like the beginning questions, you know. And he asks like, "Oh, how often do you floss?" And I tell him, usually about like twice a day." And he's like, "Oh wow!" Like he's just fucking tooting my horn at this point. He's like, "Oh wow!" Like majority of people I ask, they don't ever. They always say like maybe once a month, or they never floss or something like that. He's like, "So wow, that's very good of you to be flossing so often." And and I was just like, "Yeah, like I never really used to." And then he asked the same thing, like, "Okay, what about like brushing? How often are you brushing your teeth?" And I was like, "Oh, twice a day, like once in the morning, once at night." And he's like, "Oh, again, very good. Like it's very good that you're brushing at night. Most people only brush in the morning." And I told him, I was like, "To be honest, bro, like I don't really ever. I hate brushing at night, but my fiance always makes me. Um, my fiance is always the one that's like, hey, you make sure we're brushing our teeth at night,' and it fucking annoys me, but I do it anyways. Obviously, referring to Jacinda, and he hears that and he's like, "Oh wow, okay. Well, make sure you tell him I said thank you." And I'm like I just kind of chuckled to myself, but I didn't really say anything. And then the same girl who was like, "If you want radiation poisoning, if you don't want radiation poisoning, I suggest you get out of here." She's the one kind of like helping him, and she fucking like it goes quiet. Like he says, "Oh, well, I suggest you tell them thank you or tell him thank you for me." And the room kind of gets quiet, and then the girl like just awkwardly looks over at me and she dies like laughing. Like you could tell this was like one of those laughs that she was really trying to hold back, and then just dies laughing. And I look over at her and I was like, "Are you laughing because he said him?" He referred to my fiance as him, and she like laughing still. She's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know like blah blah blah." And he's like, "Is it a girl?" And I was like, "Oh my god, this motherfucker's doubling down." He said him twice, and I was just like, "No." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it's a female. It is a woman." And he's like, "I'm so sorry about that. That was so uncalled for by me or whatever." And I'm thinking like, this is hilarious. Like this motherfucker. And honestly, a part of me thought to myself like, it would be hilarious if I just like jokingly got like pissed off. I should have just like completely acted like I was super fucking offended and mad and been like, "What the fuck? Like, are you calling me gay?" But like, I thought it would have been hilarious. Like, I thought that to my head, and I was like, "Fuck, I should have done that just to fuck with him," and then been like, "Ah, I'm just kidding, bro. It's fine." Like, I didn't give a fuck. But it was still weird, like that he did that. You know, like who just says he? Like, who assumes that someone's gay? Like, you can say they. You if you don't know if I'm gay or straight. Well, who? What if I was gay? Would a part of me be like, how the fuck did this guy know? Like, do I look gay right now? If if you're visually watching this podcast, and I know you guys are all gonna say yes, whatever. There's nothing wrong with being gay, so I'm not gonna. Oh, I don't know, bro. Whatever. But for him to just throw out like that I'm gay was like wild as fuck. I was like, okay, all right, dude, whatever. I mean, I was wearing a tank top. Maybe that will give it to you like a muscle tank, you know? Maybe that made me look gay. But also, it's kind of a compliment if you really think. It's kind of a fucking compliment if you really think about it. For this guy to just immediately assume I'm gay, because most gay guys, you got to give it to them. They got fashion, they got style, they look good. You see like some gay guys in the gym, they're jacked. They're jacked as fuck. So maybe it's a compliment. Maybe I should have jumped his bones right then and there. Pause. But again, yeah, it was just so weird that like he just immediately said, "Oh, tell him thank you," or "make sure you thank him." I don't remember what the exact verbiage he used was, but it was still just like, "All right, bro, whatever." And then it got so awkward after that. Like, not for me. I thought it was funny. I thought it like, but I could tell this motherfucker like he even said he's like, "I'm so sorry." Like and when I told him it was fine, like I thought it was funny. He's like, "Oh, thank you. Like I'm like my whole face is turning red right now. I'm sorry, blah blah blah." And this girl to like the assistant, the one that tried to give me radiation poisoning, she's still just fucking laughing, and I'm like, fuck is so funny, motherfucker? You fucking want one? Fuck is so funny. But yeah, it was hilarious. And then by the end of the appointment and everything, teeth cleaning, everything done. He's like, all right, like that should be all. If you have any other questions, let us know. But if not, then we're good here today. And I was like, no, I'm good. Like, all good, thank you. And he's like, and again, I'm so sorry about the him her thing. That was so uncalled for. And then I told him that. I was like, I thought about it, and I thought how funny it would have been if I just acted pissed off and just like pretended to be so fucking mad at you or something. And he was just like, oh, I probably would have had to quit my job. Like, and this guy was a foreigner. I mean, when's the last time you guys had a dentist that wasn't foreign? It's very rare you get a white dentist or like an American dentist born an American born dentist. You know what I'm saying? Not saying they can't do it. Shout out to the Americans. But yeah, like they always have accents. This guy was from Iraq. I asked him because he said that he was a foreigner or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, where are you from?" He said he was from Iraq. You could tell with his accent and everything too. And that's another thing. Like, bro, I know gay isn't like common where the fuck you're from. Why do I have to be gay if like you're not even accepting of gays? I don't know that. I don't know if he's accepting or not. But like back home in Iraq, they're not too fond of the gays. I'll say that. And then for him to throw that on me, I was like, you son of a bitch. But either way, hilarious. I thought it was pretty funny. But I'm gay now, guys. So um, that's kind of where we're headed right now. I put those together too closely. No, we're not headed to being gay. Not like there's anything wrong with being gay, but I'm not. Sorry, fellas. What else? What else is going on? What else is going on with me? Recently competed in my first little jiu-jitsu tournament. Definitely expected to get my ass reamed, but to be honest, at least at the white belt level, because again, I'm the biggest scrub when it comes to jiu-jitsu. Anybody listening, don't think that I'm boasting myself up like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm garbage at jiu-jitsu itself, but my wrestling helps me out a little bit. So again, I was expecting to get my ass reamed, but a lot of these white belt dudes that I was facing in that tournament could not defend a takedown to save their life. So your boy got the dubs. Got a first place. If you saw me post that, first place jiu-jitsu. Again, anybody who had like the slightest knowledge with no disrespect to the guys I wrestled or that I grappled with at the tournament, but if they had better knowledge of how to defend a single leg, I'm fucked. I get my ass kicked bad in that tournament, pretty badly. That was the only way I was scoring points was takedowns. Yeah, but it was pretty cool. Did that. That was nice. Got my own little medal. What else have I been up to? Anything else going on in my life? Not terrible. Let's see. Let's pull up my fucking calendar. What have I been doing lately? And this sounds really old manish of me to say. Like I got to pull up my calendar, but really, like I track a lot of shit in my calendar. All right, let's get into it. Majority of these solo episodes get drowned by UFC and MMA talk, but that's probably one of the things I'm most passionate about. So let's get into it. UFC 327 just came and went. Was a good one, to be honest, guys. I think I went over it in one of my previous podcasts, kind of going over how I thought this card would go, and I was wrong. I was pretty wrong across the majority of it. I know there's been a bunch of not a bunch, but there's been a card since UFC 327. But let's be real, majority of people are talking about the prelims or about just the numbered events of these UFC events. So if you guys don't really care about UFC, I apologize. It's probably going to take up the rest of the episode. Have a great Tuesday. Don't be a pussy. Don't let your dentist call you gay. And have a good one. But if you're interested in my MMA talk and whatever the fuck it is else I'm going to get into with UFC, then stick around, baby. Let's do this. All right, let's just start out hot with Yuri Prohaska versus Carlos Ulberg. Now, round one KO. A little less than 4 minutes into the fight for Carlos Ulberg. Tough one for Yuri. Tough one for our samurai brother. Yuri immediately was catching a bunch of slack because of what he was saying in the post fight interview, kind of talking about how he felt like he gave mercy to Carlos Ulberg, and I think the term mercy kind of was wrong. Um, like, and I get it coming from Carlos Ulberg's perspective. If you go and like you work your ass off, 12-week fight camp, whatever it is, 8-week, 10-week fight camp, of just fucking absolutely locking in to beat this guy, to separate him from consciousness. Sure, that doesn't always happen, but that's usually the goal, especially for a guy like Carlos Ulberg. You're working your ass off, and then you get the job done. No matter how it was that you got the job done, you do. You get the job done, you get the belt wrapped around you. And for this guy to say, oh, he only beat me because I showed him mercy, it's, as Carlos Ulberg, you gotta be like, what the fuck? Like, who does this guy think he is to just kind of like shit on me like that? Basically saying that like, oh, I'm the reason that I lost, not you. You got to give him the respect. And I think Yuri, but he was catching a lot of flack for using the term mercy in that interview. Again, I don't even think this was really like a language that this guy, it's not his first language. English is not Yuri's first language. So he was kind of fed that word by Joe Rogan in that interview. And it kind of threw him off. And again, we're interviewing a guy who just got knocked out minutes later. Like, after getting knocked out, you're interviewing him. His fucking brain's probably rattled. English isn't his first language. His like hormones and fucking all of his adrenaline is just like absolutely running. And then you put a microphone in front of his face. It's bound to be something bad. You know what I mean? I thought we learned from the Daniel Cormier fucking way of him getting interviewed after the John Jones KO and like him all fucking crying. That's bad. You can't be doing that. So yeah, I think what really I believe happened is, and again, this isn't to take away from Carlos Ulberg's performance. He got the fucking KO. The dude's the champ now. Done. Nothing more, nothing less. But really, Yuri did let his guard down quite a bit, and that's to no fault of Carlos's. That's Yuri's fault. Like, yo, dude, if you are gonna let your guard down and give Carlos Ulberg the opportunity to land what he's known for in that left hook, that's your fucking fault, bud. There's no excuse to be made. Like, you made the mistake. Everybody loses in fights usually because they made a mistake, and you can't make the excuse of, oh, well, it's because I made this mistake. If I didn't make that mistake, I would have won. And it's like, brother, you made the mistake, but the other guy also made the capitalization on top of your mistake that gave you that fucking L. So, again, Yuri Prohaska gets KO'd. This fucking guy literally doesn't do anything besides go to finishes. He's never been to a decision in his UFC career. He either gets knocked out or finishes people. Even like the closest fight he had when he first won the title off of Glover, very back and forth fight, really sloppy for sure, but at the end of the day, 30 seconds left in the fight and still getting the fucking submission there. There's no decision in Yuri's UFC run. The guy's a beast. Carlos Ulberg's a fucking beast. Now, what sucks now, though, for the UFC or for that light heavyweight division, is the fact that Carlos is out for a bit. He might be out for the rest of the year, maybe till like late this year. I mean, I know they usually do like the MSG card or something in like November, December, but with what it looked like as a torn ACL, blown ACL, you're gonna have the guy out for quite some time. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see what comes with that. Is Yuri gonna be able to defend? Is he gonna get fucking stripped of the title? I really hope not. Is there gonna have to be an interim title fight for that weight class because of the champ being injured? I really hope not. I don't know. I know a lot of people are saying that they want it to happen, but it's like that that weight class is cursed for the most part, guys. Like Yuri wins the title a while back, and then he had to vacate the title because he was injured. Um, Jamal Hill, if I'm not mistaken, same thing, was injured and vacated the title. I could be wrong. Um, then they had like the champion in Poatan Pereira, and he ended up vacating to move up. It's like no one wants this fucking title. They're all fighting to get it, but then they get it and no one wants to keep it anymore, you know? No one's really defending for that long. I saw a little statistic the other day of like from like for like a span of like 9 years, the only UFC light heavyweight champions were Daniel Cormier and John Jones. And again, I'm kind of making those numbers up. I don't know if it was fucking 9 years. It might have been 7 or whatever. But since then, in the past like 5 years, there have been like 6 champions. You know, let's look it up exactly. I'm gonna look up UFC light heavyweight champion history. Here we go. Here's the title lineage. Okay, I don't need to start from fucking Frank Shamrock. Jesus Christ, UFC. So yeah, John Jones, Daniel Cormier, starting in 2011, and then John Jones, Daniel Cormier, and then Jan Blachowicz gets the W when it's a vacant title. Glover wins it off of Jan in 21 with the submission. Yuri wins it off of Glover with the submission, and then Yuri has to vacate with his injury. Jamal Hill takes it, and then Jamal Hill also vacated due to injury. Alex Pereira held the title, making, I think it was 3 defenses from 23 to 25, and then Ankalaev beats Pereira for it, and then Pereira comes back and gets the title back from him, and now goes vacant, obviously moving up to heavyweight. Carlos Ulberg comes in and takes the vacant title from Yuri. I guess not from him, but in that fight with Yuri. So Daniel Cormier and John Jones basically held the title from 2011 to 2018. Holy shit. And then from 2020 to 2026, there have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 champions. That's fucking nuts. So, yeah, again, this division is cooked. No one really wants to keep the title. Everybody wants it. No one wants to keep it. And that's where we sit. That's where the UFC sits right now. So, the rest of 327 kind of going through. Let's go through the rest of the fights that were on that one. Upcoming card coming up, Yusuf Zalal versus Aljamain Sterling. Still going to be a banger. I kind of want to touch on that main event here in a bit. But before that, UFC 327 fight card. Co-main, Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. Was supposed to be, why am I blanking? Tatsuro Taira versus Joshua Van as that co-main. That fell out. Joshua Van has some like undisclosed injury that moved the fight like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that, which is pretty weird, especially because I've heard a lot of people talk about, like listening to other podcasts of talking about how they saw Joshua Van and he looked fine, you know, like he was in the corner of one of his teammates for UFC 327. He was in the corner of it. Was it 327? I think so. Anyways, he was in the corner, walking around, smiley, cool, and it's like, just because the guy's injured doesn't mean he can't fucking smile or walk, you know? I mean, but I wonder what it was. I wonder, like, undisclosed injury, you know what I mean? There was no real reason. Maybe the guy had fucking staph infection. Maybe the guy had ringworm. Maybe the guy had, like, a huge cut that had just opened on, like, his knee or something. Because visually on his face, you didn't see anything. But, like, a cut that opened on his knee or something that he wanted to heal before going into the fight. Give it a little bit more time. Either way, that fight gets moved over to UFC 328. And we'll talk about that. I'll probably just give my picks on that one as well. I'll try not to go too much fucking longer on this. Let you guys take the rest of your day, your rest of your Tuesday or whatever fucking day it is that you're listening to this. Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. I'll be honest, I slept on Paulo Costa. And you can't blame me, you know? Based on like the Paulo that I've been seeing lately, sure, he fucking went on a huge, like, not winning spree, I guess, but had a really good performance against Roman Kopylov in his last fight, which was great, looked great, but I just didn't know if he'd be able to bring that into this next fight against undefeated Mirzakhanov, who's just fucking sleeping everybody that he comes across. Um, and I expected Ozmat to win. Did I really think that he'd get like a huge KO? No. Even though that's really how he gets his wins. But Paulo Costa has a fucking chin of steel. Like that shit needs to be studied in a lab. Um, but yeah, Paulo Costa comes in there and smokes the guy. Literally gets a KO of his own against this undefeated Russian motherfucker that looks like Bradley Martin. You can't tell me he doesn't look like Bradley Martin. Roll the clip right now. Like not a clip, but put the two side by side right now. This is where we got to do it. Put the two side by side, and that's gonna help. You'll see what I'm talking about. Um, yeah, good win by Paulo Costa. A lot of people were talking about they already want him fighting for the interim, um, fighting fucking maybe even Olberg next when Olberg's healthy. But again, it might even have to be an interim again. Um, Now a lot of people also think that if there is an interim title for that light heavyweight strap, that it probably shouldn't be Yuri again because he's already fought for the title like 5 times. Um, but it's like, dude, give the guy a break. He's only losing to like Alex Pereira and now Carlos Olberg, you know. But Curtis Blades versus Josh Hokett, fucking banger. I like Josh Hokett. I know a lot of people are like talking about how it's cringy and corny and annoying, and it is. But I think that's why it's good, honestly, because there's a lot more to this like shtick and like personality that this motherfucker is like getting together that no one's seeing. No one's seen before, you know. No one is like really doing that shit anymore. Um, but I'm definitely a hypocrite because the same guy who kind of did the same thing in Colby Covington, I didn't like that at all. And like the Henry Cejudo one, I also didn't really like at all. When the whole King of Cringe Triple C, um, that kind of pissed me off. Not pissed me off. That's a wrong term, but it was just like annoying to me. I thought it was very ingenuine, especially because we had seen those guys not have that persona for so long in their UFC career, and then just like quick snap and they like do a full 360, 180, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and become this whole personality that they've kind of just built overnight. Whereas Josh Hokett's been doing this shit since he was in the LFA. I think it was the LFA. But yeah, like since his first fight in the Contender Series, um, before even his debut, like this guy had this personality, this fake like little fucking, I don't even know what you want to call it, but you get what I'm saying, of a personality for himself, and it's working. People are talking about him. You know, gets fight of the night against Curtis Blades. Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker. On paper, you would have assumed someone's getting knocked out in a fucking goofy way, but very boring fight. No one really just wanted to engage in that fight, and I kind of get it. Like they both know that they can get knocked the fuck out. I think they both know that like their chins might not be the best of what they once were, so they kind of were both scared of each other's ability to knock out the other one. So it became kind of like a little fucking dance, really, from the outside on both of their parts. Cub Swanson getting the W over Nate Landwehr. Gotta love Cub Swanson. Nate Landwehr's fucking a G too. If you guys have never listened to like a Nate Landwehr interview or anything, just the way the guy talks is gangster. I really fuck with Nate Landwehr. We'll see where he goes next. Poor guy. Cub Swanson, retired. Motherfucker's had a long, long career. Yeah, moving on. Not too much more I want to talk about in the prelims. Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. Fucking great showing for Aaron Pico. Great win. Again, this is someone that I've been very high on. I was really high on Aaron Pico even before this fight. I really thought he was gonna just smoke Lerone Murphy, and for the most part, I don't know if smoke is the best term, but he was. He was piecing him up. He was fucking dotting him up in that fight for majority of the fight, until he wasn't. You know, just too aggressive in there. Didn't really respect enough of Lerone Murphy's fucking little ace up his sleeve, you know, and then gets that spinning elbow and fucking gets KO'd. But Aaron Pico definitely looking for probably a ranked opponent next. I don't believe Pitbull was ranked. If he was like top 15, like 15, 14, 13 maybe. I want to see Aaron Pico win, keep winning, especially because that featherweight division is in need of some more stuff at the top. Kevin Holland versus Randy Brown. Good fight for the most part. Kevin Holland gets the W. Fucking moving along on his own. We'll see how long that little streak goes. I like Kevin Holland. I just hope he stays on the the mindset and like the trajectory that he's on right now and continues to win. Really, I mean, the guy's fucking solid. You see stuff like that. How can you not root for the guy with performances like the ones he's getting? Attacking chokes always. The motherfucker always has that ace in his sleeve. Sterling versus Zalal. I actually recently met Yusuf Zalal. I've met him a couple times now. I've seen him when I'm at work. When I'm just fucking driving around, I will not disclose where the fuck that is, but Yusuf Zalal's a cool guy. The fucking guy's jacked. He's huge. I like Eljo though. I really do like Eljo. I think the guy gets way more like disrespect and like hate than I really think he should. And of course, a lot of that comes from still the maybe the love for O'Malley or um, the idea of like, oh, he was like kind of faking his little like acting when he won the title off of Peter Yan. But it's something like that that usually people are giving Aljo shit about. But when you really look into it, the guy's a fucking solid winner. He wins when it's time to win. He's up at this featherweight division now, undefeated there, running through a couple good guys. Um, Actually, no, he's not undefeated. He just recently lost to Movzar. You could argue that Aljo won that fight. I'm not saying I think that. I kind of do, but good fight there. That was honestly a banger. I know a lot of people look at fights like that and think that they're really boring when they're grapple heavy, the way that that one was. But Eljo versus Movzar was honestly fucking great to watch when you understand like wrestling positions and stuff like that. Again, like the jiu-jitsu and shit, I'm still new to, so I'm not too knowledge there, but it's still good to watch and see like real pure technicians kind of going at it in that grappling exchange rather than just like um, kickboxing matches, which are fucking fun too when they're slobber knockers. You get fights that are like very sloppy and people are just whooping each other's ass. Those are fun too. But moving on, I will say I don't really know too much about Norma Dumont, and this is the last fight I'll mention or I'll talk about on this card. But Norma Dumont ranked number 3 versus Jocelyn Edwards. I don't really follow the women's bantamweight division too heavily, I'll say, but Jocelyn Edwards has been on a fucking tear. You look at like her record and some of the ways that she's winning and beating people, even if it's a decision, in her wins, she's fucking these girls up. I mean, especially like she's getting submissions, she's getting KOs. I mean, look, she's on a one, two, three, four fight finish streak, let alone win streak. Um, Only has one decision in the UFC. Like I know people give a lot of shit to like women's MMA, and honestly, I'm one of them. I'll be honest, but Jocelyn Edwards is fucking slick, and there's definitely that's why she's fighting all the way up at number 3, ranked number 3, Norma Dumont, while she's only 11. So definitely someone to look out for there. That's going to be one that I think that's a good women's MMA fighter to watch. But moving on to UFC 328, and we'll go over kind of just the main card. You leaving? Okay. I'll be done with this here soon, and I think editing it will be really easy. But going back to the Sterling versus Zalal fight, Aljo ranked number 5, Yusuf ranked number 7. I mean, based on like paper, when you really see like the amount of like competition that both of the guys have faced, Aljo's definitely faced the way harder guys. Huge step up in Yusuf Zalal, his recent win being Josh Emmett, which was a good win. Josh Emmett's solid fucking fighter, but the fight hasn't aged well since then. Obviously, Josh Emmett's been on a little bit of a skid, but still impressive the way that Yusuf Zalal fucking submitted him really quick. On paper, I feel like you got to go Aljamain Sterling, but I don't know. It's hard to make a pick here. Definitely, like my bias aside, like I said, meeting and talking to Yusuf Zalal, the guy seems like a real fucking cool guy, and I bet it's like that when you meet majority, if not like 90% of these fighters. But I'm rooting for Yusuf. So, moving on. JDM versus Carlos Prates. That's going to be a banger. I don't even want to really pick too much in this because I want to fly through and get to UFC 328. But Della Maddalena versus Carlos Prates. I'm going to go Carlos Prates solely based on just fucking like the guy. JDM is a sick boxer as well, but I'm going to go Carlos Prates. That fight should be a banger. Moving on. UFC 328. Let's get to it. Let's start kind of near the bottom of the main card. King Green versus Jeremy Stephens to open up the main card. Actually, that's a fucking banger. These are two guys that are really going to slug it out for sure. Jeremy Stephens, if you don't know, this is who the fuck is that guy? Conor McGregor kind of obliterated him. Poor guy, that's what he's known for now. Left the BKFC, was fucking people up over there. Comes back to UFC, looking for a dub. King Green's good. I know people hate on him and like don't like him or whatever. You look at the record with 17 losses and it looks like a lot. I mean, fuck, Jeremy Stephens has 20. But this is going to be a banger. I'm probably going to go King Green. I don't want to dive too deep into like why I'm taking these picks, just because there will be a couple weeks between now and then where I'll probably cover these again and maybe even dive deeper into it, into the card with the other guys, the usual UFC crew. But I'm going to go King Green. Takes care of Jeremy Stephens in that one. Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. This is a banger. Honestly, I feel kind of odd for Joaquin Buckley with him taking so much time off. He really hasn't fought since like about a year, since his last loss to Kamaru Usman. Kind of just getting grapple fucked there. Sean Brady definitely has to look at that and think about like a blueprint kind of being laid for him there. Also coming off of a loss, getting kind of sparked out by Michael Morales, which fucking A, Michael Morales is solid. He's probably, it's either him or Ian Gary fighting for the title next. Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. I'm going Sean Brady. These are just very uneducated, less deep dive picks I'm going into right now. I might even change, like on the next episode of like me really breaking down this card. Yeah, but Sean Brady. Volkov versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. I'm going Cortez. I know Volkov's really good. A lot of people would argue that he beat Cyril Gane in that fight that they had recently. That's not Volkov's most recent fight, though, is it? I want to say Volkov's had another since then. Let's see. Yeah, lost. Oh, beat Jailton Almeida. Split decision. Jailton gets cut right after that. I'm going to go with Cortez. Volkov still being up there at number 2 at heavyweight is pretty nuts. Cortez being number 4. I just feel like, for the most part, it seems that Cortez is a lot more well-rounded in the striking. Pretty good grappling. Again, very uneducated. I don't even want to continue talking about why I'm making these picks because I'll probably end up changing my mind as I really dive deeper into statistics and fight styles of these two guys. I'm going Cortez. Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. Again, met Tatsuro Taira at Tiger Beetle gym. This motherfucker's huge. He's jacked for his weight, which kind of shows that he cuts a lot of weight at the same time, you know? But I don't know. I got some love for the guy now, knowing that he's in the Denver area as well. The guy's training out of Denver, has been for a little bit. No hate to Joshua Van. The guy's a champ. I know a lot of people are already giving him shit, and it seems to be a common theme as like I go through this. Like a lot of fighters are always giving certain champs flack and bullshit, like pushback about, oh, you're not a real champion because of X. Like I said that about Eljo. I said that about somebody else earlier, but like same thing with Van. People give Van shit because like he didn't really win that title off of Pantoja. But the W is a W, guys. The guy has the fucking belt around his waist now. So I'm gonna go Tatsuro Taira, first Japanese champion in the UFC. Let's see it. Banger fight right there, guys, at flyweight. Middleweight, Sean Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev. Holy shit, has this fight been going on? Like, this fight has been going on outside of the cage for quite some time. These guys have been fucking talking shit to each other for quite some time. You hear everything about Hamzat being this boogeyman. I know it seemed like he was this crazy boogeyman on the feet when he was fucking people up and sleeping them real quick. Gerald Mearshart, fucking first 1-2 of the fight, puts him to sleep. Going out there, submitting the Leech, Li Jingliang, in like easy round, picking him up, taking him to Dana. The guy still lives up to the hype there. Again, people giving Hamzat shit about the way that he won the title off of DDP. But I mean, aside from that, name a boring fight that Hamzat's had. I know it's annoying, and you see stuff like this, and you think like he's just like this. People are now saying that like Hamzat is this boring fighter. He's not. Like that's the first boring fight he's had. Really, you look at all of his other wins. Let me pull it up right here. In the UFC that he's had, and he's having good fights. Like, okay, starting. Okay, with like one of the most known wins of his, obviously Gerald Mearshart, 17-second KO. Li Jingliang submission in the first round, beats Gilbert Burns by decision. That was a really fucking close, great fight. I think that was correct the way they gave Chimaev the win there. But that fight kind of showed that Burns wasn't the boogeyman that everybody thought he was because he was able to get dropped in that one. Chimaev versus Holland, fucking subs him quick in round one, and Holland is a black belt himself and a great grappler, so to make it look as easy as he did was pretty insane. Usman versus Chimaev, and I know a lot of people are going to talk about like, oh, if this was a 5-rounder, Usman would have won, whatever, but it wasn't. It was 3 rounds. Chimaev wins the first 2, loses the third, still gets the W. And then, honestly, that win against Robert Whittaker, that was one of the craziest ones. Taking this motherfucker's back and pushing his teeth to the back of his mouth the way he did with that like face crank, rear naked attempt, whatever it is you want to call it. Tough. That one was like, holy fuck, Chimaev is the real deal. And then you get the boring fight of Chimaev versus Duplessis. Again, I even myself, I'll say it was pretty boring, just because it didn't seem like there was a lot of like finish attempts coming out of Chimaev in that fight, but it still was dominant. It was very dominant, and it just goes to show like there was levels to that grappling shit, and Hamzat used, like, why would you differ from the game plan in that? You know, like if you're, DDP's best shot is to beat you on the feet, so take him the fuck out of it. It's like if you're gonna fight a shark and someone says, yo, we're gonna fight this shark. You could enter the water to fight him, or you can bring his ass on land and fight him. What the fuck do you think you're gonna do? I'm gonna fight the shark on land. I'm still probably gonna lose, but way better chances. On paper, I feel like you got to go with Hamzat Chimaev. I'm rooting for Sean Strickland. I'm rooting for Sean Strickland with probably majority of America. I know a lot of people don't like the way he talks and like all the shit he says or whatever. Way crazier record in comparison to Chimaev only being 15-0 versus Sean Strickland 30-7. That's a lot of fucking fights, man. 6'1" versus Chimaev being 6'2", 75 to 76 inch reach with Strickland having the 1 inch advantage. Geez, like Strickland kind of seems like he's the only option now to go in there and get the job done. I know people wanted to say that about Fluffy initially. I think I even said that probably about Fluffy until you see what Sean Strickland did to him there. So we'll see. We'll see how this fight goes. If someone like said, hey, here's $10,000, you got to put it on one of these fighters in that main event, I'm probably going to go Hamzat, even though I want Sean Strickland to win. But safe bet, I think, is Hamzat for sure. The guy's dominant. He's been dominant in almost every one of his fights that he's had. Sean Strickland coming off a fucking crazy dominant win himself, though. But I mean, we've seen him lose fights now. DDP twice. Some might argue the decision in one of those. The first one, I think a lot of people were unhappy about. But we sit here with Hamzat champion, Strickland number 3. May 9th, it's the fight of the year. That's honestly a fucking banger card, guys. Looking forward to really breaking it down with some more of the guys and talking shop, bullshitting on it. So, thank you all again. Thanks to everybody listening in. I appreciate the support. I even like people reaching out to me throughout the weeks that I took off and I wasn't uploading podcasts. It just goes to show that people are really paying attention and give a fuck about listening to this. And every Tuesday, like I've become part of your schedule. So again, I appreciate it. Thank you all. Podcasts are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Those are like the main three programs. If you're using like Google Podcasts or something, get it together. Get it together. But yeah, I really appreciate it. I know, again, like I said, I was not looking forward to doing this one today. I'm definitely like mentally a lot more in it now as this went on, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad you guys get me in here doing this as well. So we're here. Happy Tuesday. Happy fucking good morning. Happy Easter. It's already gone. Happy spring. Summer's coming up soon. Can't wait. Fucking time to go camping. Time to go outside. Time to go be playing volleyball, spike ball, pickleball. Just living the summer life, baby. It's about to get hot as fuck. But I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys again. I appreciate everybody looking forward to these. To know that people really look forward to like me just literally ranting at this camera is funny to me and really enjoyable. Yeah, that's about all I got. Thanks again. Have a fucking good Tuesday. Have a good week. Make this week your bitch. Nobody can tell you that they're better than you. We're out, baby.